Greetings, ECL listeners. It's Will, and this has been a very busy couple of months for us, and recently Lucas and I had to miss a week of our Patreon, so that kind of threw everything in our schedule a bit out of whack. Thankfully, it is settling down once again, and we're going to be returning to our regular schedule, but we felt bad about there being a lack of content for a week of our Patreon, and we want to thank our patrons for being very nice about that. But we figured that it didn't have to be the case for the free feed necessarily, because there's a couple of pieces of Patreon content that y'all haven't heard yet. So that's what we are presenting to you today. Now, of course, you can hear this type of content way, way earlier if you subscribe to us at patreon.com/Elwood City Limits. I want to give a shout out to some of our patrons who heard this earlier, such as Shander Lefebvre Boaton, William Moore, Yoshi, and Christine Liscody. Patrons like Bob Yee and Baby Show Addict. Patrons like Young Wee and JP. Thank you to Jack and Jeff L. And thank you to Cecil Robinson and to Hay Strouder and everyone else who supports us at patreon.com/Elwood City Limits. So get ready to hear this piece of Patreon content, a great chat that I had with Stanley and Evan, the creative minds behind the Midwest Emo Arthur theme song. We'll explain everything about that in detail, so we hope you enjoy this interview. There are other interviews just like this over at patreon.com/Elwood City Limits, so make sure that you check it out. And we will be back with a new episode of Elwood City Limits for the free feed in about 2 weeks. But of course, if you want to hear the season 19 premiere a week early, that's another perk of patreon.com/Elwood City Limits. You get access to all of the new episodes a week early. So we will see you soon. Until then, we hope this tides you over. From Lucas, I'm Will, and have a great week.
If it could break the sound barrier, falling out of a window shouldn't be able to break it. I told you not to touch it. You built it all wrong. Did you even read the directions? It didn't fly for 1 second. It's not my fault if you made a plane that can't fly. I told you not to touch it!
Every day when you're walking down the street, and everybody that you meet has an original point of view. And I said, hey, what a wonderful kind of day, if you can learn to work and play and get along with each other.
It's very rare that as a podcast dedicated to Arthur, we get to take advantage of, I guess, a viral moment. That's how this show started, actually. We started because people were rediscovering their memories about Arthur because of the memes that were happening, the Arthur fist and everything. And every once in a while, like, Arthur memes never really go away. They just kind of come in fits and starts. They have all kinds of cycles. And they often adapt themselves to meme formats, but also just ways of expression that people are discovering. Such a mode of expression has come around once again, and I have a really cool chance here to talk with two people who made something that has definitely taken a bit of the Arthur community by storm and is breaking through to the internet at large. And I'm really looking forward to talking to them. So today I'm talking to musician Stanley, who is the band Echo, as well as Evan, a video editor at Black Valve. And they created, the title is, I Made the Arthur Theme Song Midwest Emo, parentheses, not clickbait. So Stanley and Evan, welcome to Elwood City Limits, and I'll be the first to say on behalf of myself, my co-host Lucas, and all of our listeners and Arthur fans, thank you for making that. It rules.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
I mean, this is something that is very, very rare. Like, as somebody who does, like, puts captions to dumb Arthur screen caps, or I should say, I put dumb captions on Arthur screen caps on the regular. Going viral is not something that you can really plan for or predict, but I would say that this video that you created has obtained a bit of virality. We're talking about it within, I believe this is within a week or so of you posting it, or at least of it coming to my attention via the Arthur Twitter account. So I first want to talk about the video itself. So Stanley and Evan, can you, for those who haven't seen it, for whatever reason, could you describe what that video and what that song is that went viral?
Okay, so Midwest emo, if you're not familiar, which good on you if you're not, is just a genre of music with like really twinkly guitar leads, just some like intricate drumming on occasion, and usually some somber themes. But on this project, you know, the song, like the Arthur theme song, it's such a positive message, and I think that rocks. And just Midwest emo-ifying it, like, is just so neat. And so there's a sample of, you know, when DW breaks Arthur's model plane and he's upset, and, you know, the Arthur fist meme, and he hits her. Like, there's me playing guitar over that, and then it's just like the full band comes in and I sing the Arthur theme song in this genre that doesn't really fit with it, and it just works, you know?
Absolutely. And Evan, you were involved on the video side of bringing that part of it together.
Yeah, so we were actually just talking on Discord one night. We live kind of far apart, not that far, but like a couple hours apart. So it's not like, you know, we always we've been lifelong friends, so we just chat on Discord at night or whatever. So we were like, wouldn't it be crazy? We kind of had seen a couple other things going viral, like the Midwest emo, just like sampling like different TV shows, like I Think You Should Leave, and them doing kind of a Midwest emo guitar with it. And then another kind of like punk rock version of the Scooby-Doo theme song was just going crazy. I was like, wouldn't it be cool to kind of like collaborate and just like use kind of Stan's just like such a talented musician. So it's like collaborate and kind of use our talents together. And we just like, we've done this for years. We've done a million silly, goofy things. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. So Stan starts cooking on the music or whatever. So Stan sends me over like a rough mix of it, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, this is crazy. We gotta like make a video to this. So Stan was coming up for a wedding in the area where we are. So I was like, let's do that. So it's like all day wedding. I think I was working that day or something. So, you know, it's like 1 a.m, classic. We get in the studio and we just had the idea. I kind of do work with like televisions and projectors and obviously filming and stuff. So I kind of like incorporate all that into the work we do. So I was like, let's just, you know, do that. So we're projecting, and Stan also like edited the song with the sample, and then just had DW blinking like on a loop. So that was like already kind of put together. So we projected that onto the back wall, and then just filmed Stan playing. It's really honestly straight, because it's like we've done a lot of things over the years. So, you know, you want to put effort into it, but it's also like, and it was also 1 a.m, and it's like, we only have so much time. So I'm proud of this because we did put a lot of thought and effort into it, and it is, becoming, you know, more popular. And because it feels like a lot of the other stuff we've done is like the lowest effort, like kind of silliest things we've done have gotten the most kind of not even that it's that much traction or anything, but just have gotten the most attention. So it feels good that something we actually put like a decent amount of work into, you know, has had such a positive response from everyone. I think it's a really great feeling. I think it's great too, because it's kind of falling off, like kind of the popularity of it is not that it's that crazy, but, you know, it's whatever. The popularity of it is kind of making people discover Stan's other work, which I think has been not recognized as much as it should be. So that's just like another positive of it. But yeah, so we filmed it at the studio real quick, just a couple run throughs of the song. And then I actually, so I work with kind of like old televisions and stuff. So I actually edited the video together and then played it back on a television and then filmed that to give it like the real kind of feel, because it has like the nostalgic feel, and it's just kind of like what we do anyways, like on some other projects, but it kind of gave the video the nostalgic feel to have the real, like scan lines and everything on it. It's on a real television and stuff. So that's kind of the background of it.
The genesis of it. And I think that that's something that when it comes to things that get internet notoriety, they almost seem to, especially like when you don't know the person who's making it or what went into making it, you're kind of just like, well, that just sprung up fully formed. And even just having you explain the process of it. Now, thankfully it wasn't, it's not something that it obviously took a lot of work, but it's not like a labor of love over years or anything like that. So you didn't break your back for this. But I think that a lot of people, myself included, take for granted that these are not only real people behind these viral hits, but there is a significant amount of work that goes into it and thought as well. It's not just, you just happen to find the right details and somehow became viral. It's like, no, you and I think anybody who sees this video can see that there's a lot of not just work but heart that went into it as well. And I think that it wouldn't be resonating with as many people as it seems to be if there wasn't that part of it.
Yeah, and I think I tell this to people just like interested in like video or art or whatever they do. It's some people will just focus on trying to do this one big thing for a long time and just get burnt, get burnt out. But I always give the advice of just try to do a lot of little things, and you always learn. And it's you're setting a goal and you're reaching it. B, it's just manageable and it's more fulfilling. But I think where this kind of lands in between is that it's a little bit of a culmination of the practice that we've had over it does seem like it was a quick turnaround from maybe it took a week to make of total, like based on the recording time and the video editing time and stuff. Not like a total week's worth of work, but just, we're doing other stuff, jobs and everything. So it's just finding time to like do it. But I think what it shows is that when you do something over time, it can be an easier, this wasn't, a crazy thing for us to do because we've already built up kind of our processes and our work. So it's like, it just kind of came naturally out of what we already do. So I think that there's something like kind of nice about that. Just making it, it's not like it was like a back-breaking thing, but it just kind of feels like a natural evolution of like what we already have been doing, over time. And it just kind of came easily, but that's kind of the magic. Like Stan is just so talented. That's like, and it's just that Stan has also been working on, getting better at recording and doing the home recording and everything. So it's like the quality's all the quality check marks are there. It's just about the, idea and expression and everything. So it's just kind of cool that it all kind of came together.
So I wanted to dial things back a little bit because I wanted to go a bit into the past and how we got here before we talk about the effect that the video has had so far. And Stan, I wanted to ask you about your musical background in terms of like how you came to be a musician today, and also a little bit about Echo. So let me hear a little bit about musically how you got to where you are today.
Yeah. So, I have been playing music for, I don't know, like, I want to say almost 13, 14 years at this point. Like, my very first band I was actually in with Evan, and we were not good. it was something else. But, like, I don't know, I felt so cool playing music with my friends that like I wanted to chase that rush, like that adrenaline. And I am just such a big fan of attention, I guess, that I wanted to keep doing it. And like I have some ideas that I wanted to just like see happen. And, you know, I live in the middle of nowhere, like a very small town, and finding bandmates is like a difficult thing when you're in a small town and like can't drive, because I didn't get my license until I was 18. So I just made, you know, a band myself after like time. And I started playing drums. I was playing guitar, bass, and singing or yelling or programming keyboard parts, like just whatever. And I just, over the past decade or so, I've gotten, you know, pretty okay at it, if I do say so myself. And Echo is like a one-person project. I have a live band for shows on occasion, but mostly I just play solo sets when it comes to the live show. And all the recording, the first EP that I have on like streaming services was recorded by a friend of mine, Cameron Breen, and everything else since then I have recorded myself. And I think that's cool because you can hear, like, with every release, I'm getting better at it, and it's just super fun. And I've been like touring for the better part of 10 years, like under different various bands and filling in for bands, like filling in for friends and stuff. And it's such a good feeling to make music still to this day that I don't see myself stopping anytime soon, if at all.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy to hear you say that. And of course, something that you both can answer, I'm sure, your history with Arthur. So I'm sure this kind of thing doesn't get made of just like, oh yeah, Arthur's real hot in SEO right now, or whatever it is. So I would love to hear about how you first discovered Arthur, and then how you felt about it over the years, I suppose. Like, is it something that you kept watching, or is it something you recently came back to? Your histories with Arthur.
When I was a kid, I watched a lot of PBS Kids, you know, like some Zaboomafoo, some obviously Arthur, some Between the Lions, Reading Rainbow, what have you. For those of you that care, I'm almost 27 years old at this point. And
Dude, I'm in my 30s. Like, it's all good. I least of anybody who listens or hosts this show try not to age shame about like how old anybody is and what they should or shouldn't be doing. It's like, you know, it's all good.
Awesome. But yeah, like I just grew up watching that stuff, and I was a big Dragon Tales fan as well. So, but yeah, I just really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the lessons that you could learn from it. And I played a lot of, well, Evan and I both played Arthur's Reading Race for the PC. Yup. Like, we just talked about it recently, and we were like, oh, do you remember this game? And we both, like, instantly went back to Toenail Crunch ice cream.
Toenail Crunch.
Shout out.
Shout out Toenail Crunch.
And I don't know, it was just, that was a very fun game because, you know, it's helping you learn how to read, and you get a little bit of activity with it. And I think that's awesome. Obviously, I love video games. And it's just, Arthur always, well, Pal. Let's talk about Pal for a sec. Pal
let's talk about
cutest
Pal.
Dog in cartoon history. Cutest dog.
100%.
Clifford, go away.
Pal is an underrated dog, and I'm so happy for you to say it. It's, you know, it's easy to forget. Like, I gotta be honest. I don't know how far y'all went in terms of when you like stopped watching Arthur. I definitely had a time when I stopped watching, but one of the things that really I didn't jibe with, and it honestly gets worse the more that we keep watching this, is when they give Pal. Did you ever watch up to the point where they give Pal the British voice? Like, they have him talk.
No,
I don't know.
Like, don't
I
watch
that.
it. Like, I just want you to know that this happened. And it's just like, we can't just have a dog be cute. We got to have him like do stuff. Like, it eventually gets to this point. My co-host Lucas and I have said that it's basically like Arthur trying to do Rugrats, and it just doesn't work because you got the dog talking to baby Kate. You've got Francine's cat talking. Like, it's all it's. I don't like it at all. But what.
I might remember the cat. I guess maybe I vaguely do remember that actually. Now that you say, did they have like kind of bits together where the cat and the dog were like talking together?
Yeah,
or
yeah. It's like they were they were frenemies.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
That's
now.
kind of cute, though.
It's it sounds cute, but like I don't like the voice that they gave Pal. And it was when we started doing the podcast for the first time, like I was so taken by Pal because he is just so cute in those early seasons, especially when he's not talking. So it's just I'm just really pleased for you to say that. It's great to be like, yeah, Pal is really cute. Why don't we talk about that more?
Just a good dog, We love dogs.
Absolutely. Evan, what about you? Your Arthur history?
Yeah, it was probably one of my most watched shows growing up. One of my favorite comments on the video is, if this doesn't blow up, I'm returning my library card. So it's, having fun isn't hard when you've got your library card. So just like I think the music of Arthur is just like kind of awesome, like Jekyll Hyde. We were jamming. I showed my dad the song, and he's like, hey, when are you gonna do Jekyll Hyde? So like, even he remembers that song. Like, it's how iconic it is. I was like, we may jump the shark a little with that one, Dad, but maybe like in a year we'll hit it or something. But we do like a heavy metal version of Jekyll Hyde. So if you really, really want to see that, Stan will cook it up. But we're gonna hold off, maybe just on we don't want to oversaturate Arthur
just like
too much.
Just like
keep
Swedish
the magic.
death metal, Jekyll Hyde, just
it'd
way
be
down
so
to the
cool.
register, just down tune the guitars like crazy, and then just that. Well, hey, listen, I'm not going to tell you how to do your thing. You're obviously doing fine without me, but that one's for free.
Okay,
Drop
we love
G,
it.
Let's go.
Yeah,
but I think like I'll give you a couple. So I think another standout, just like I feel like Arthur has like a lot of big moments. When he cuts his knee at the junkyard or whatever, that's a big moment for me. I remember that. I remember where I was. That's just like, I was like, he's real. There was like, it's like a consequence. It was like, it dealt with like real kind of consequences and stuff like that. So I thought, that's a standout moment.
And on that moment, I wonder did you feel the same as I did when I was watching that as a kid? I got so anxious that I literally had to turn the channel away.
Yeah, I felt like I was in trouble, or I did something. I was like, what if I get in this much trouble? Or it was just
really.
So yeah, that had an effect on me for sure.
Any of the other moments? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure to take advantage of that one.
Yeah, it's all good. Let me think here for a second. That brought me back to a a vulnerable place. I gotta recompose here.
I will tell you, since you brought it up, there seems to be a place, and I'm literally just finding out about this now, but there seems to be a place where you can buy Arthur's Reading Race online, and I'm just going to put the link here. Like, if you ever wanted to go back, there's also like, it also links to like a full playthrough, so if you ever just want to mess around with that, but like,
oh my goodness.
Nice.
I think it looks like there's a website where you can like legally-ish, I don't know, purchase Arthur's Reading Race. So
nice.
If you're ever down bad for Arthur's Reading Race, like, you can probably relive the magic in some way or another.
Oh,
it's so good.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing this weekend.
I never got the chance to play the Arthur PC game, so that's a whole world that I never got to really venture into.
I played it. It's what's weird about it is, honestly, like, I've talked to a lot of my friends, and they also played it, which is like, I thought I would be alone, but it seems like kind of more universal than I thought it was going to be. Like, Stan knows about it. My friend Shelly knew about it. Like, it's just weird. I thought I was going to say it, and people were like, what are you talking about? But it was surprisingly, like, it was a little more, like, I mean, it's only 2 people, but I thought it was going to be 0 people, I'm alone here. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting.
Well, and speaking of finding out about, like, I guess getting a response from people, let's talk about the response to the video. So it came out, and I would also love if you could give me a bit of the timeline of like how long it took for it to to take off from when you released the video to when I originally saw it, which was it was retweeted by the official Arthur Twitter account, and then of course I followed you from there, and I saw a bit of the of how far it's going. It's got so many, I think 21,000 YouTube views and counting at least, and that's not counting across other platforms. So yeah, tell me about your reaction to the response and what the response has been in terms of how many people have seen it across platforms or that sort of thing.
Actually, perfect timing to mention this. I just checked the YouTube analytics and I just passed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Sick.
I had
That rules.
80 before this video.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not even joking. 80.
It took me like on our Black Valve account, it took me literally like 4 years to get 1,000 subscribers. So we like Stan got that many subscribers in,
not even a week.
It's just like unbelievable. It's like, yeah, it's been out 6 days.
Yeah.
So
and
that's pretty crazy.
It's gotten over 40,000 views on the analytics as well.
On YouTube.
Wild. And when did you? What was the date that you officially released it?
Let's click on September 27th, 2023.
So we're recording this on October 3rd. So that was not even a week ago. Like that's once it hooks onto something, whether it's the algorithm or just virality itself, it really does. How does it feel like to have gotten this much notoriety for it in this amount of time?
It feels
Or you go first. Sorry, Stan, I cut you off.
I'm sorry. It feels wild because, like Evan said, we put some work and effort, blood, sweat, and tears, what have you, into like other endeavors. Like I said, I've been playing music for a long time, and just to have this blow up and have people listening to my original music because of it, and like my Spotify numbers jumped like over 200 listeners just because of it so far. And
that's awesome.
That's wild to me. People are giving a darn.
Absolutely. Yeah. It seems to have really struck the corner of, and I think that I don't want to speak for the entire Arthur Online community because it's so kind of stretched out, but we're really quick to assemble around these types of like Arthur content that is of high quality. Like recently, the YouTuber Peanut Butter Gamer has put out some Arthur videos, and it's very quickly like passed around in our Discord or retweeted onto our Twitter timelines. If there's Arthur content to be made, then we're right there for it, and we as Arthur fans, I should say, and it's thankfully in this case it was something that's just like, no, this is actually great. And like you said, you put this up on Spotify so it can be listened to just on its own, which is totally worth it. It's a real chill jam.
Thank you so much.
It's something that has captured the imaginations of some of our listeners. There's a couple of questions that we had over on Discord. Our patrons had a couple of questions they wanted to ask you about it. One of the questions was there anything about the Arthur theme in particular that made it easier or harder to adapt into Midwest emo, into that style?
That's a great question.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Can I, I'm going to go. Do you care if I go back really quick and just make one more?
Of course.
Let's touch on because I was so I'll just start. I was shocked that the official PBS Kids and Arthur account retweeted it. Yeah. It was so insane. I think it was literally like within 24 hours of posting it on Twitter.
Yep.
I was like, how is this possible? It was so crazy.
And of course, that's how we found you in the first place, and it's still got a huge reach, as even just among the Arthur community, but beyond that too. Like people are still following it because of the Arthur memes from years ago, and it still has quite a bit of pull to get it in front of people's eyes.
Yeah, I think let me see if I can find one of this. There was one comment in particular that I thought was, I don't know if I can get to it quick. Maybe Stan can get to it. But it was kind of like, I'll just paraphrase. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it exactly, but there was one comment that basically said it was like the perfect combination of like millennial and Gen Z like reach, because it was, you know, like I think Arthur is kind of universe because it was on TV, or it's still running on TV reruns, if I understand.
What, like 25 seasons, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
25.
So it's kind of got like, it's a cross-generational thing. So I think it was just kind of like an interest, and it's fun because I think it's because obviously Stan has the music background, so I think it started kicking up kind of in the like DIY music community. Like a couple bigger accounts like retweeted it, like someone with like 60,000 followers or something retweeted it, and we're like, whoa, that's crazy. And then like half an hour later or something, we're like, I think PBS Kids just retweeted it. So it was just like, how is this possible? I'd never in a million years thought that. I just like didn't know that like someone was paying attention on there, or would even know, or would even like think that it was good, or, you know, it was just crazy. So that was pretty cool.
Well, and it seems that you have the right attitude towards it, is that this was not something you made specifically so that it could go viral and get like attention and clicks right away. It's something you made because you both felt strongly about it, and it just so happened that a lot of people saw that and felt a certain way about it too. And those are the things that often, like, you can't fake that. You can't fake authenticity. You can't fake enthusiasm or at least not over an extended period of time. You can't fake the kind of enthusiasm or like strength of memory or passion that says, I'm going to make this thing, I'm going to make this song and this accompanying video. And I think people really respond to that type of authenticity.
Right.
Yeah, and it, like I said, it's like a culmination of just like, we always are just like, hey, here's this idea, let's just give it a shot and just like have fun with it. And it's just so happened that like people cared, which is sweet.
Yeah.
So again, anything about the Arthur theme itself that made it easier or harder to adapt into the style that you were emulating?
So let's think.
I can kind of talk. I have like a thought, and then if you want to bounce off it, just
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that I know anything, but I actually went back like after this happened and listened to the theme again, and it's honestly like kind of a blank, like musically it is kind of abstract. Like it's a very interesting song. Like musically, it's not like I think like I said, all the music in Arthur is very unique, and I feel like, I don't know this for a fact, but it's like, seems like they reached out to different artists and they were all able to like contribute something like creative, and it doesn't feel like it's talking down to kids really at all. It's just kind of, it's universal. So I feel like, especially listening back to, and I think Stan's version of the song made me really like, I think all of us kind of like needed the lyrics of the song. Like it really, especially like, and it's kind of like funny in the Midwest emo style, like, believe in yourself. It comes from the, like all those like lyrics. It hit kind of like, I feel like people comment this too, it kind of like hit differently. It hit like nostalgia and like growing up and just like, it's like, yeah, you should believe in yourself. And, it's, I don't know. Right. I think it just kind of like hearing it in this version, because it's like when I watch the actual theme song, I focus on the visual, but like hearing Stan's version made me really focus like and really think about the words in a way that I hadn't before.
Mm-hmm. So the lyrics, like, it's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Believe in yourself, because that's the place to start. I'm like, that is so good. That, like Evan said, that's a universal theme. And like, as someone who's about to be in their late 20s, I'm like, I really needed that, because you can get so burnt out on what you're doing day to day. You can, what have you, like different external things, different internal things. Those lyrics are so powerful, and it was nice to like have that like stepping stone to work on this composition. I was like, what's going to sound twinkly and cute to accompany something that is so positive and impactful? And it literally just poured out of me one night, like all of the guitar parts and the drums and the bass, and it like Evan said in the comment, it hit different.
And what's crazy too is I feel like we said it, and then like literally an hour later, Stan's like, "Here's the rough draft," and it's like it just like happened. You know, it was just like a perfect storm of just like inspiration.
Yeah,
It just kind of poured out of you after you started thinking about it.
exactly. Like I tuned my guitar. That tuning is, let's go. It is for the music people out there, C G D G B D, capo on the 3rd fret. So I literally just tuned my guitar to that and started fiddling along, and I was like, "Ooh, this would be cool. Oh, this would be cool. Oh, this would be cool." And it like Evan said, perfect storm. It just happened. I don't know. I kind of went beast mode for a minute there.
There's another question that we got from Discord, and this one is going to reach back into your childhood, into different areas of it, because somebody wants to know if you could do another Midwest emo version of any kids show theme song, what might it be? So, Stan, you mentioned a lot of PBS Kids that you watched as a kid, but are there any other theme songs that stand out to you or Evan that you think could work well with that kind of treatment?
I think the Dragon Tales theme goes hard because it's like Dragon Tales.
Yeah.
Like that would be really cool to just have like some gang vocals on or something like that. Or like watched a lot of SpongeBob as a kid, and that like easy. The SpongeBob SquarePants, having all of your friends in a room or like you by yourself. Like I've recorded gang vocals by myself and it just feels funny, but it still like works as well as having other people in a room with you. But like having your friends chant SpongeBob,
I feel like
SquarePants.
SpongeBob, there's got to be so many quotes out there that would fit, like the DW and Arthur conversation that you did in the video would fit in that, because SpongeBob has become such a meme like factory in and of itself. It's like bigger, I'd say bigger than like The Simpsons in terms of how usable it is. And so there's got to be somewhere in the umpteenth episode of SpongeBob, there's got to be like that, like just that quote from whoever it is to perfectly.
It's got to be
kick off this
Squidward,
episode.
right? It's got to be like kind of emo a little bit. Squidward,
Or the like
No.
every morning I break my legs.
yeah. Oh, that's. I think that's already been done a little bit. but that's
Probably.
cool. Yeah, that's perfect.
When Squidward's like, well, at least that didn't kill me.
I want to take it back to Arthur for a little bit, because whenever we have an interview like this and it's around Arthur, I'm of course very curious about like where you stand on this, and where you used to stand on this when you were a kid. I first want to ask, like, favorite Arthur character. Is there somebody that stands out for you? Stan, you obviously talked about Pal, and as a fellow Pal appreciator, I really love that answer. But are there any of the other characters that really stand out to you?
Binky Barnes.
Yes. Yes. Another one for the Binky squad over here.
Shout out the tough customers.
Yes.
I feel like Binky. I was gonna say. I feel like Binky is good because my mom will just call people Binky like if they're in trouble or something.
Yeah.
She'll be like, "Get over here, Binky Barnes."
I've seen that happen. It's awesome. Shout out Evan's mom.
That's great. And you know, as much as I said previously, like, hey, don't watch any of the newer Pal episodes, one of the most fun things about where we are, because we're into the part of Arthur that we didn't watch this when we were kids. We didn't watch up to when it switched to flash animation, or I should say digital animation. And it's all like, it feels all new. We have had to get used to it. One of the best things that they've been doing is that they are using the tough customers and they're evolving as characters to a degree, as much as you can with a show like Arthur that is very episodic. But literally just like a week or two ago, we had an episode that was focused entirely on Rattles, the kid with the baseball cap. And it's like talking about his life. And like, it turns out he's like from a divorced household, or finding out about Molly and her little brother. Like, they are using them a lot more, and it's really great because as you said, like the fact that you remember the tough customers is like they are memorable in image and in personality. And then eventually they decided, hey, we should do something with this. And they did.
I think that's awesome. Like showing in depth about a character that is usually considered like a side character is just so awesome. Like I know Scrubs would do that with some characters in episodes, and it's just like it's really cool to see them like giving a darn about all the characters and having like the stories behind them and why they are who they are.
So obviously it's been a minute since I actually watched the show, but my vibe or like what I remember about Binky is that like initially, like just based on his like design and look, you kind of get like, it's obviously like bully, like big, mean guy kind of, but I feel like he was kind of not like, I feel like there was parts of him that were tough, but I thought it was interesting that I feel like there was also like softer moments or like kind of comedic moments to like break that appearance, if my memory serves correct. So I think that was like that made him like an interesting character. Just not being like a stereotypical like bully all the time.
Absolutely. And that's why we responded so much to him early on and why we continue to. It's like, first of all, Binky's hilarious. Like he gets some of the best lines, but he is somebody who is allowed to grow from where he started from. There's his first, even in his first episode, the one where he's introduced as the bully, and then he has to kind of figure out who he is when Sue Ellen steps up to him and is just like, okay, you're not as tough as me. And he's like, all right, well, who am I then? That's one of my favorite episodes of the show, and I'm sure it's been really well remembered as we've been going through it. And speaking of episodes, I wanted to ask about any that stick out to you. Now, of course, Arthur's Big Hit is one of them because it's in the dang video. That's the one that, and that's a lot. We've made a lot of hay out of talking about who was right and who was wrong in that scenario, so we don't have to relitigate that. But I am interested in what other episodes stick out to you, either from childhood or still, like if there's one that you return to, or just which ones made the biggest impression.
You gotta help. I can't think of what it's not a Renaissance fair. It's like the where they eat at the place. It's like the medieval times basically, but
right.
It's what is that? What is that called?
So do you remember? There's a couple that might be, and apologies to anybody who's screaming at their podcast feed about this one, but it's just like, do you remember anything else about what happened in that one?
Either Arthur won't eat, or DW won't eat, or they get sick or something, or they don't like the food.
Is that the one where DW doesn't like spinach?
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, they're at it's like the fairy tale themed restaurant.
Yeah,
I'm struggling to remember what the name of it is, but yeah, the one where DW doesn't like spinach, and then she finds out that the pot pie that they make is like primarily
and she
spinach.
eats it. Yeah, that one stands out to me for some reason. I don't know why. I love that episode.
It's a good one. It's got some real like wild animation takes here and there, and of course, like me and Lucas being older fans, we really like the way that the cells were drawn, and you get some of these like funny in between frames, and that's where a lot of the memes come from. Is like the tired DW face. That's not what she looks like in that shot. That's an in between, but it still looks really funny. Yeah, no, that's a good one too from the second season. So again, like I age myself every time I think of this, but it's like that was like 97, 98.
Oh
yeah, that's when I was watching it as a kid. It's funny. I think it was just relatable as like probably a picky eater. I don't think I am, but other people have said that I'm a little picky, so it was pretty relatable.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
What about when when Elwood City turns like 100?
Yes, that's the 100th episode of the show as well.
That's the 100th episode. Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they're pretty good to do that. Like they've been celebrating because we're past the 200th episode now, and they did something for that too. So I think I might be corrected on this. I'm pretty sure it was just called Elwood City Turns 100. That was the first one where both story segments were the same story.
Right.
And that made it feel big as a kid of like, wait a minute, this story's so big they need to use the entire 22 minutes.
Yeah, rather than like splitting it off, because like I just remember that being huge. Like that came out. When did that release?
That episode?
Yeah. So 100. You said season 2 was in
Probably.
98. You said.
My guess would be like around the year 2000. We have some really, really knowledgeable Arthur fans, so I'm just going to make sure that I know what I'm talking about before I proceed to, they humble me with their knowledge routinely. So this would come out in 2002.
Okay, so I just started kindergarten. That's wild.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm a little baby.
Yes, you are. Thank you for saying it.
But yeah, I remember
yeah.
that one being like a big episode for me. I'm trying to think of what else. Obviously, like the episode with the Jekyll and Hyde, just because that song is so catchy. Like adding a little bit of suntan lotion, that's funny.
Did y'all have get the soundtrack on tape? Like, did you have any like Arthur merch? There was a lot of it back in the day.
I had a
Yeah,
shirt.
I had I had a tape. I had the like.
Yes.
I don't know exactly which tape it was, but it was like a music, like the music. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
I had that too on tape, and we did various episodes about the music CDs. Like there were 2 music CDs / tapes, and then there was a Christmas album.
I love that. I'm a big believer in like holiday episodes and holiday stuff when it comes to like shows, movies, cartoons. I like to talk about another cartoon for a sec. Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episodes always just get me. I think it's so good.
Right on. And Arthur's Perfect Christmas is the one that always comes up. And listen, we're in October. I'm not trying to wish Christmas to come here any quicker than it already is, but like that's a big comfort watch for myself and a lot of the listeners around this time of year. Although I never got to watch Arthur's Perfect Christmas a lot when I was younger. It's something that I came to as somebody watching it for the podcast, and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. I wish I had watched this more as a kid. It was the kind of thing where I think it aired on like Christmas Eve or something, and you know, depending on what denomination you are, what your plans are, it's just like, well, I wasn't really around on Christmas Eve to watch all of these Christmas shows, so I missed it all the time. It was really cool to hear from you about what goes into this in terms of making like a viral hit, interacting with the Arthur community. Well, and you mentioned getting like some great comments, and before we were talking, you've thankfully not received any negativity. Can you tell me about what the kind of response has been from people who have found you on social media or are continuing to watch the video?
The best
Yeah.
comment.
You go. Sorry, I was saying the exact same thing.
The absolute best comment is, "We're making it out of the hood with this one."
The best one was we're making out of Elmwood City with this one.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah.
But yeah, there's just
Yeah.
Or sorry, you say
It's all you.
Cut you off. But yeah, like one of the comments is like, did not expect an upbeat Ziggy Marley song from a PBS cartoon could work as a melodic punky anthem, but somehow ... it works. It's just like, I don't know, it's crazy.
And thankfully, this is something that I think can be at times an impediment to creativity, but thankfully this time it seems that it's been received pretty warmly, and I'm really happy that it's found a good audience. And I think this is the experience that we've had with people who have found and continue to find us, is that the people who still enjoy Arthur are really like eager to talk with other people about it, to continue thinking about it. And I suppose you could read whatever you want to into that, but for me, it really makes me happy to see something like this and to know that, essentially, to paraphrase Community, it's cool that other people think about the same things that I think about, and in a way that fuels their creativity and makes them want to create. And in this case, it's you two who made a really sublime song and a super cool video to go along with it. So I've already essentially thanked you, but I'll say it again, like, thank you very much for making that. And it was a real gift for us here in the nebulous Arthur community, but we really appreciate it, and we're gonna be bumping it. And I think now is a good time to get into how people can find more of you. I would love for you to just plug whatever you've got, especially, I'm looking on. You've got some really good tie back when the Arthur Twitter retweeted the video. It goes back to the Echo is a Band Twitter account, and right on that Twitter, you've got a very interesting piece of merch that I'm looking at and licking my lips, and I'm like, all right, I think I gotta get on. I think I gotta get in on this. So yeah, please plug whatever you'd like to plug.
Yeah. So everywhere you can find me at Echo is a Band. EchoIsABand.com is the website. That'll show you like some links to all the other social medias, merch, my Spotify. You can check it out there. DM me. We'll be best friends for life. All that good stuff. And take it away, Evan.
I'm going to derail for like 2 seconds. I think this might be, I need your Arthur expertise here.
Totally.
So someone commented and said, they better pay you millions of dollars for this is the opener to the inevitable gritty Netflix reboot of Arthur. Do you think that that's a possibility at all?
So I will say that we had somebody on our Discord, one of our patrons, RPG Fiend, and I'll mention them again in the next ECL episode. But I will say that they went to an event recently where it was like R.L. Stine and Mark Brown were doing a book signing together. Mm-hmm. And when asked, Mark Brown says that there's an Arthur movie coming where they're in junior high. So I don't think it's going to be the gritty Netflix reboot. And like that, I think is left as that viral video that happened a few years ago. Like that, I think is we don't need an Arthur version of Riverdale, but there is something coming. And junior high is when emo starts to kind of sound good.
Mark Brown, hit me up.
Totally, I think so. I would hope that it's not so done or put together that they couldn't like add a little bit of zazz to it,
a little spice.
Yeah. Just imagine Arthur jumps in the air, throws his fist up, and then you hear, "Hey, what a wonderful kind of day." Come on.
Totally.
It's perfect.
Totally.
It writes itself.
Literally turn the fist meme upside down into one of triumph.
Exactly, rather than one of anger and hopelessness.
Yes, absolutely. And as I was alluding to, Stan, you've got an Arthur inspired shirt that people can pre-order.
Yeah, so it's got the Arthur fist, and then it says "Echo, believe in yourself" in all caps, and it rocks. It's going to be printed on comfort colors. Feel free to pick one up, listeners. Shop.echoisaband.com, baby.
And Evan, where can people find you?
Yeah, if you want to follow along, just at Black Valve on YouTube and TikTok. We kind of do a little bit of everything, but like video production, editing, kind of fun, weird video stuff. And then we also have a music account called Pulmonary Sound. We do concert photography, live band videos, and we also have Live from Bad Racket, where we have live bands come in and play at Bad Racket Studio, which is like connected to our studio. So we got a couple, music related things if you're interested in that. But Black Valve, funny, goofy stuff, video related. Some just, let me think. But yeah, just informative stuff. And we're trying to post more and get more of a following there. So if I can drive you to one place, subscribe on the YouTube channel at Black Valve.
There you have it. And of course, the proof is in the pudding. When you take a look at that wonderful video, you will see the kind of work, the kind of quality that you can expect from there. So before we kind of say goodbye to the interview here, is there anything else that y'all wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
Yeah. Thank you so much to everyone who's like watched it and spread positivity through it. Like, I never in a million years thought that something goofy that my friend and I made would like blow up, but it did. And I don't know, I feel very, very happy. So thank you. This is brought to us from viewers like you and Juicy Juice.
That's the part we messed up on, is that someone commented we should have added that. That would have been so funny, but we'll keep it in mind as we continue to cook on this stuff.
Right on. Well, for Elwood City Limits, for my co-host Lucas Mancini, we want to say thank you to Stanley and Evan for being here on the show, and more importantly, spreading the love of Arthur across the internet. It's something that we all are very happy to do, and very happy to see people do well. That's the thing, is that it's not only are you guys kind of reminding everybody of Arthur, but you're doing it because you're really good at what you do. So thank you for being
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
You gotta listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open